Welcome, everybody, to our International Women's Day 2023 celebrations. Happy Women's Day to everybody who's participating in this event. This year's theme is DigitALL, Innovation and Technology for Gender Equity. Our mission, Tech Avant-Garde's mission from 2013 has been being a socially conscious organization. We have taken it upon us of women empowerment in the digital age. We train and employ women. I'm going to introduce you to 6 women from Tech Avant-Garde who are DigitALL. She is an entrepreneur who transforms education with technology and digital skilling of educators. She is an educationist who has broken away from the legacy teaching and is involved in a digital transformation of education. She wants to transform the image of the educator in the digital learning spaces. She wants to establish equity and she wants to establish equality in society by encouraging social schooling. She wants to connect stakeholders of education on social network and build strong learning communities. She wants to implement design thinking in education to make educators knowledge age ready. They all believe in innovation and technology for gender equality. Well, without further ado, I'm going to invite the 6 very important women to come and speak and give their perspective of what is empowerment and how gender equality works. I first go over to Mrs. Shanta Seth, Chairman of Tech Avant-Garde, to speak about her journey of entrepreneurship in education. Over to Shanta.
H.G. Wells said that human history becomes more and more a race between education and catastrophe. If we continue to leave vast sections of people of the world outside the orbit of education, we make the world not only less just but also less secure. Gender-based discrimination in education is, in effect, both a cause and a consequence of deep-rooted differences in society. Disparities, whether in terms of poverty, ethnic background, disability, or traditional attitudes about their status and role, all undermine the ability of women and girls to exercise their rights. Moreover, harmful practices such as early marriage, gender-based violence, as well as discriminatory education laws and policies still prevent millions of girls from enrolling and completing their respective education. Equity is the strongest framing principle of a post-2015 right-based agenda and underlines the need to redress historical and structural inequalities in order to provide access to quality education at all levels. This heralds what was effectively one of the strongest themes that emerged in post-2015 education consultations, that is, a right-based approach in which education rights are indivisible. This implies that all aspects of education should be considered from a rights perspective, including the structural features of education systems, methods of education, as well as the contents of education curricula. This raises the question, how can we ensure and guarantee equal access to education for every child, regardless of gender? This is where tag and digital transformation come into picture. Since 2013, we have lived this one truth: ensure equal access to all. That's what, that's why I always say that tag is in the business of disruption. Disruption is an interruption in the status quo. Disruptive education is anything that aims to deviate from the accepted model in order to enhance it. Because the current system is still rooted in the 20th century, it is failing to meet the needs of the knowledge age. We believe that change is both necessary and urgent. The way that education is now delivered is not equipped to give today's students the abilities they need to learn to communicate with and inside the digital society. This is a there is a clear understanding of the difficulties facing the education sector in the 21st century. There are many difficulties ahead, including tailoring education to each student's talents and requirements, training teachers to adapt, unlearn and relearn new pedagogies, and ensuring that students have the technical and social skills that employers want. This is where Tech Avant-Garde comes in. We aim to disrupt the status quo in the education sector. We have a simple goal: create paths of empowerment for students, parents, teachers, principals, and schools. In the age of technology empowered education, the teacher remains the critical link to learning. The integration of technology does, however, create a more sophisticated and robust role for teachers. Like all professionals, teachers need an opportunity to polish skills, upscale knowledge, and Tech Avant-Garde ensures that teachers are trained to meet the challenges of the knowledge age and ensure that they are well equipped to adapt to the evolving changes in the pedagogies, teaching learning platforms, and teaching methods. For far too long, schools have been isolated islands in the communities they serve. We aim for schools to be part of the connected learning community, where formal education meets and serves two main objectives. First, it creates a lifelong passion for learning in every student that transcends and outlives school. And second, it encourages, supports the highest level of student academic achievement. Over the past few years, through workshops, interviews, technical meetings, academic papers, conference presentations, seminars, and teachings, we have engaged in critical participatory dialogue with a wide range of key national and international stakeholders in education and gender, and including representatives from governments, civil society, international organizations, academics, and students. We have learned that education should be meaningful, it has to be inclusive, and youth should be an integral part of the changes in their educational ecosystem. Gender equality in education is a matter of social justice concerned with rights, opportunities, and freedoms. Gender equality in education is crucial for sustainable development, for peaceful societies, and for individual well-being. At local, national, and global levels, gender equality in education remains a priority area for governments, civil societies, and multilateral organizations. To maintain the spirit of gender equality, we have digitally skilled close to 5 lakh teachers during the pandemic from New Zealand to Canada. We took special interest in Indian teachers by training 2 lakh of them and certifying them to meet the needs of hybrid learning. Today, we continue to empower teachers to redefine themselves and to repossess their position as primary knowledge workers of society. Without them, there won't be formal education. Without formal education, there won't be professional jobs. Without professional jobs, there will be an anarchy. We wish every educator a future filled with success and a leadership role which will inspire a change in society. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that, your perspective of how you want to lead the society in the future. And it sounds great. And it is really, if all this comes to pass, I think we'll have almost a society which will be very progressive in the future. Now I go over to Mrs. Rupa Arun, who is an educator and who's into digital transformation of education. And over to you, Mrs. Arun, to take this forward.
A very good evening to all of you. Thank you so much, Mr. Ali and Ms. Shanta, for that absolutely very, very good insight in terms of where women can play a substantial role in the complete transformation of the society. What I have done today is I have made a very small, quick presentation, which I would like to share with you all. First and foremost, while we are in this mode of celebrating the International Women's Day, let me first take this opportunity to wish you all an absolutely fantastic Women's Day. And when I say a woman or women, a man or men is all inclusive. So that is how we are looking at it, that a component which encompasses everybody else together. We are going to celebrate that day, recognizing the efforts that a person, a single woman, can make a change in this society for. So let's look at how a woman plays a role as a transformer. And here, when I mean a transformer, a person who can literally transform the face of education, the face of a nation. And as most of you know, I think it is this one significant person in a family, be it a young girl, as she grows up into a woman and takes care of families, she not just transforms herself, she transforms the family, the environment, and the complete environment in which the home is there. So it's like a ripple effect. One woman who starts creating this kind of a transformation, the ripple transcends along the entire nation. So it is true, to educate a woman is to educate an entire generation. So we have one generation of women the first time when they got educated, and we've seen the number of things that they have achieved. I will not go very far for examples. If you look at one of the uh, this also happens to be somebody from Tamil Nadu. When you look at the lady who had walked out of her confines of a village because the father was extremely progressive in his thought process, he decided that Rukmini Arundale should be educated and that she should know what the world is and be part of this journey of growing up in the world. So her father decided that she should be coming to a bigger city, and later perhaps even, and also decided that she should step out of the country for her education. So Rukmini Arunde came back as an educated, well-traveled person and brought in so many changes in terms of, the way the society had to look at perhaps the traditional dance form of India, that is the Bharatanatyam, also in terms of how the animals need to be protected in the society, and set up the animal care center here, the first of its kind in Tamil Nadu, in Chennai. So much so was the service and the strength and the thought process of this woman. She was offered to be the Prime Minister of the first women Prime Minister of our country, which of course she declined. And that was another gesture which very few can actually come to that level of saying, no, this is not my place and this is not something that I can take up, because I do not think that I have that ability to lead such a big nation as ours. Even that takes a lot of strength. What I'm trying to tell you here is the impact that a single person can create is tremendous. And when you educate, it is equivalent to being empowered. Let us not forget that there are still many families where women do get educated, but that's the end of it. Education is done, then they are in the confines of the a home, and then they're not allowed to work. I think every woman has to be empowered in such a way that her education should become her strength and she should be able to impact several other lives. And that happens only when you are allowed to go outside and work. And fortunately for all of us and many of us on this platform, I think that has been a blessing. And we are here today to see how we are able to make this transformation, especially in the field of education. Because once these thought processes, the ethics, the values are set in our mind, then we are not just changing our own life, we are not just changing the life of the people around us in the immediate society, but we are in turn building the nation, because we are in turn creating that many more mature people who are productive young adults to the nation. That is the requirement. If you look at the population of our country and the number of people who are actually in the age group where they can be employed, but unfortunately not all are skilled enough, is something that gives you a direction to this thought. We as women can definitely induce those thought processes, be able to bring in those skill sets into the school children, because that is the area of our influence at this moment, and ensure that we are bringing out skilled young adults employable, and thus make the nation extremely, extremely progressive. So if women are educated, the nation is bound to grow. And there are several people who have actually quoted that, you can actually measure the progress of a country with how the woman is treated and how the woman in turn has an impact on the society. Any woman who understands the problems of running a home will be nearer to understanding the problems of running a country. And this is so true of each home. The way a home functions, the kind of things that you need to keep the home healthy is exactly the role that a woman plays in the house, and the same role that she is capable of doing if she is educated enough to ensure that the rest of the country's needs, the country's health, the country's economic progress is all taken together and is delivered from that single person or the single point of generation of this thought and transformation process. I think this picture is self-explanatory. You can see women in two extremely, when I say women, I'm talking about the female species out here, of course, but then I'm talking about the role that they play in the transformation of the society. One precisely talking about the leadership qualities that they bring, the inborn leadership qualities, and the ability or the naturally born instinct of a teacher, both of which are profoundly found in us. Today, when we realized that the current education system is not working, we have been able to take the lead and also push others into understanding why this transformation is needed. And I think that is something that we have spoken at length in some of our previous sessions, but not connecting to what we have done so far, but in general. I think women generally come with this ability to lead and to be able to teach all the right kind of skill sets. So when you look at women, these are some things that you can think of, then bringing in all qualities of leadership, all qualities that teachers have naturally with them, which is to build in focus on skill sets. And when you say skill sets today, we are talking about the current set of skill sets that are needed for an individual to survive. So if they have to survive, have a job, it actually becomes what we are going to be imparting would be life skills. So that is the kind of an impact that we are trying to create by ensuring that each one of you is also able to go back home, understand, and tell the immediate environment, tell your children, tell your family, tell your extended family, tell your immediate environment about the need for bringing in this kind of a change in our education system and how we can perhaps bring in the required skill sets to make our nation progress. And quite simply, I think if we can know each other, if we can appreciate each other, if we can share our strengths, if we can learn new skill sets and practice till the change is brought in, we are bound to grow and transform the society. So I am quite certain that the impact that each one of you is going to create is going to be tremendous. And I hope that Tech Avant-Garde and all of us here are able to contribute a small minuscule of let us say appreciation, let us say support, let us say technical skills, let us say our set of pedagogy and all the transformation pieces which we are able to contribute. If you can utilize that and if you can grow and if you can transform, I'm 100% certain this entire world will transform with you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, Ms. Arun. I think the world will transform if we just lend a little bit of our spirit and hand to it. Of course, innovation. Of course, I mean, technology and innovation is important in this entire process, and that will lead to gender equality. And now I call upon Roshni, who is into social schooling. And social schooling is very important for social equity, because without social equity and equal education to everybody, I don't think our societies will grow. And that's where the gender equity also starts. So I'm going to invite Roshni to speak about social schooling and what she means by social schooling. Over to you, Roshni.
The content of a book holds the power of education, and it is with this power that we can shape our future and change lives. These words were spoken by Malala Yousafzai. Malala was a young girl who, at the tender age of 10, recognized and understood the value of education in her life. She did not allow violence from the Taliban to derail her goal of receiving education. Though she was shot twice for the crime of attending school in the Taliban stronghold, she remained steadfast in her commitment towards education. Why? Because she knew the power of education holds to transform lives. It lowers access barriers and ensures a fair shot of equity in social and professional lives. Today, in a global economy fueled by information and powered by an increasing distributed workforce, Education remains a harbinger of personal and professional success. Even more than before, education strongly influences individual employment advantage and earning power, as well as plays a major role in economic development and societal stability. Yet, the requirements of education have shifted. In addition to commanding basic facts and information, today's worker must have the ability to use resources productively, master interpersonal skills, manipulate information, and understand systems thinking and operate technologies. The foundation for these competencies rests with basic skills such as reading, writing, and mathematics, as well as the ability to think creatively, make decisions, solve problems, and know how to learn for a lifetime. Technology that is available today and which is continuously bolstered by developments on the horizon can provide enterprising educators and communities with a platform for improvement unlike any in history. The effective integration of technology in education is an exciting opportunity that requires thoughtful blending of infrastructure, access, knowledge, and empowerment of students, educators, schools, and communities. It requires a complex balance between the best of traditional education and new insights about how people learn. It depends on the use of technology to promote and enrich collaboration and communication to enable new levels of learning in the classroom and for life. Embracing a 21st century learning model requires consideration of those elements that could comprise such as shift, creating learners who take intellectual risks, fostering learning dispositions, and nurturing school communities where everyone is a learner. This can't be done simply by adding these new skills and dispositions to the existing curriculum. Doing this would just add more to the already impossible workload of teachers. And it would not work to build a 21st century system. A new mindset is required, one that could take account of the new meaning of knowledge and the new contexts and purposes for learning this knowledge. To address the challenges of the knowledge age, the thrusts that schools presently need to address could be characterized into three. They are thrust focusing social justice and empowerment, thrust addressing plurality, diversity, and flexibility, thrust towards relevance, technology competencies, sustainability of the environment. So what is social schooling? Social education is a form of social intervention which will take place from strategies and educational content in order to promote the social welfare and improve the quality of people in general, especially problem solving for those marginalized groups remaining outside the system. It is also learning through the observation of other people's behaviors. It is a process of social change in which people learn from each other in ways that can benefit wider social ecological systems. Different social contexts allow individuals to pick up new behaviors by observing what people are doing within the environment. Social learning and social pedagogy emphasize the dynamic interaction between the people and the environment in construction of meaning and identity. Social education encompasses a wide range of areas. Prominent among them are adult education, specialized social education, socio-cultural, non-formal education, environmental education, intervention in elderly, and intervention in addiction. Roshni Social Schooling's mission is simple, yet powerful. Our mission is, in today's world where knowledge is the greatest asset, the benefits of an information-rich, technology-enhanced, connected learning environment must be extended to empower students, teachers, parents, schools, and entire communities to learn without limits. Project Roshni is committed to making the change by establishing the 21st century schools. Consequently, a series of shifts are apparent. Shifts from acquisition of knowledge to knowledge management, shift from consumerism to ecological sustainability, shift from gender isolation to gender appreciations, shift from conventional to convergence technologies. The philosophy of Roshni Social Schooling is to empower the marginalized by adopting community schools, equip them with the state-of-the-art technology, train teachers in the 21st century skills, make parents aware of the changes to come and get them involved in the activities of the school and let them contribute their knowledge and time to the school. Make students environmentally aware, socially adapt, and make them culturally aware and let them choose hobbies and sports for recreation. The local community can contribute its time to enable experiential learning from experts. They also can contribute towards raising funds and business CSR for sustainability and progress of the project. These institutions should have the highest level of technology implementation, which will enable collaboration between the stakeholders of education to be future ready. These schools must be showcase schools for other institutions to follow. Slowly but surely, change will happen and empower every educationist. Allow me to conclude by quoting Duane Elgin, and I quote, "We are the first generation of global citizens. The choices we make will establish an overall thrust to living, with which humanity will live for generations." Thank you.
Thank you very much, Roshni. And social schooling is one of the most latest concepts in education. It builds in the societies and doesn't discriminate anybody, especially the children with haves and have-nots. Thanks a lot for coming and speaking about it. Now I go to Snigdha Pal, who's going to speak about how she wants to empower women in the 21st century and in the hybrid learning paradigm. Over to you, Snigdha.
Good evening, one and all present here. Wishing all of you a very happy International Women's Day. We are all very proud to be here today representing Tech Vanguard in our own individual capacity and after hearing profound talks by Ms. Shanta, Ms. Rupa and Ms. Roshni. I hope I'll be able to add some value to it as well. I start my talk with a quotation by Lao Tzu, and I quote, "Knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. Mastering others is a strength, but mastering yourself is true power," unquote. So this is what I have believed, and as I come with a professional experience of an image counselor and a soft skill trainer for the last 15 years and more, I think it would be not wrong if I say that it is a cherry on the icing and the cake as well. To add the profile of a radio jockey of being, handling the live shows for more than a decade. Why am I sharing this with you? The only reason I share this with you is because I have realized in this journey of this experience that it all adds to the soft skills of a person. We all may be subject expert in our own fields, but just ponder on this thought. Do you have that X factor in you to stand out? Do you have something in you that has an impact of an effective orator, speaker, presenter? So as teachers, we need to remember that we're no more confined, we are no more confined in the four walls and with a very limited audience. With the digital age, each one of us are a media or probably no less than a TV star ourselves, right? So I think this is one subject that I would dwell upon for the next few minutes, is that have you really pondered on this thought that what is it that you need over and above your subject knowledge? As a soft skill trainer, I would say that there's a much more than what we hear. So it's not about what we speak, but it's also very important to know how we speak. So that is something that I feel is very, very important. And we need to little bit probably throw a little light on it, and I will do my bit in it and add value to it. So now that you are visible on this digital platform, do you think, I'm sure you do, but I'm just putting this thought in you, a seed of thought, how important it is to look good? A lot of us actually feel that being professional is just being serious. But I always agree to disagree on this. Yes, it is a serious profession or a noble profession for that matter. And we need to be serious in the subject that we deal with. But really, do you need to appear as serious? That's my question. So I think all you need to do is work a little bit on your appearance, wear that attitude, wear that pleasant smile, be cheerful, and work on your diction, because it's very, very important. You know, when it comes to the language skills, we may be just sticking to the very bookish knowledge. But if you're able to have a good hold on the language skills, on your vocabulary, on the pronunciation, when you are speaking to a huge audience, that really has a very high impact. To add on to the language skill, I would say another very major factor that I have realized in these last 15 years plus is that the right kind of intonation, the voice modulation, the expression, that is so important, because if you're not having the right kind of stress on the syllable that you're using while you talk, that has a lot to do when it is coming to the visible, the digital world. So that is important. That is what I feel. The gestures, because in case you are having the right kind of gestures, the appropriate body language to go along with what you're saying, it has a huge impact on the audience. So these are little things that comes when it is to do with the body language, to the soft skills. But what about our appearance? I was talking a little while ago saying that how important do you think it's to look good? I think every one of us, especially women, have the prerogative, and take it, ladies, bring it on. I think all of us should be very happy that we are women. We are from this gender who has got the, as I said, the prerogative to look good, feel good, dress up well. Coming to the profession that we are, yes, we need to keep it minimal, but it doesn't stop us from having a good makeup, a good get-up, good attire. Keep it minimal, but be very elegant and graceful. All these little things on the side just adds to your subject expert that you are while you speak and create an impact. So I think all of us must take this as a very serious topic as well, the image transformation. And I'm very happy that I'm here at TAG to handhold you in this image counseling and consulting. I'll be happy to help in any of your concerns or requirement that you may have in your journey to be a perfect speaker along with your subject knowledge. I'm just here to shake hands as far as the soft skills are concerned. And always remember that you are a star and shine on. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Snigdha, for that lovely speech. And I hope everybody shines on. Now I invite Shivangani to talk about design thinking to our audience. Over to you, Shivangani.
Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity, and I'm glad to be here. I have practiced human-centered design and communication design for past 5 years, and now since I'm with TAG, I have found the perfect platform for my expertise to be contributed in the field of education. So for me, it's a dream come true. So today, as we are taking a moment to appreciate women and talk about women empowerment, I would like to quote Christine Lagarde, who is a managing director of International Monetary Fund, and I quote her, "When women do better, economies do better." And this is always true in any society. Why don't we think back to the role of women in education that we have had in our lives, be it your mother, your grandmother, and teachers? Regardless of their literacy status, they have always pushed for progress and focus on educating the next coming up generation with perfection. Why do you think that is? Because these women of today, they know and they recognize the power education wields to transforming lives. It breaks down every access barrier in terms of financial opportunities and professional growth. As of 2021, India has recorded a higher nationwide literacy rate amongst men as well as women, at respectively 84% in male population and 75% in female population. So the gender literacy gap was more evident in rural India, with only 66% of women aged between 15 to 49 years being literate as compared to their counterparts, male counterparts of that very particular region. So this brings me to our problem statement, that is how we can ensure accessibility in education for every child, be it male or female. Digitization of the sector is a perfect solution, of course, because now every household has a 4G connection. We can capitalize on that and ensure that digitization of the education sector takes place, and this will enable equal access to children. The famous philanthropist Melinda Gates once said that women and girls should be able to determine their own future no matter where they are born. I also believe that it is imperative for us to acknowledge that women's economic participation and empowerment are fundamental to strengthening women's rights and enabling them to have control over their lives, as well as exert influence in the society. So economic empowerment of women is a prerequisite for sustainable development. Gender equity and empowered women are catalysts for multiplying development efforts. And we know that throughout the many decades, gender inequality has been amongst people in all societies worldwide, not just India. And women have greatly struggled to become equal to men, both at home as well as in their workplace. So a growing gender equality problem between women and men has rapidly gained attention due to growth of socio-economic activism, you can say, that is primarily found on social media outlets. And it is continuing to be becoming more controversial in many places across the globe, also known as one of the wicked problems. So gender inequality in education affects men and women alike. However, it has more effective and it has more effect of a disadvantage over over women as compared to men. Ethnic background, poverty, and isolation are some of the many discriminatory aspects of women which they face on a regular basis, and they are unable to practice their rights. So, more educated women out there, the less poverty our societies is going to face. And this brings me to my next very important point, and that is another of the problems with gender inequality is personal choice. Women are not given the right to choose what they want to do in their life. Society chooses what men and men should do. They have certain assigned gender roles from the day they are born. They have requirements. Even the requirements of the society is expected from both men as well as women. So where is the personal choice here? The question here is, where is the women's place in a society? In India, we have often heard that her place is in kitchen. So I say it's not just there unless it's a choice. It is wherever she wants it to be. And freedom of choosing between the kitchen, a desk job, or any work is the advantage that education provides. So she finally has a choice because of that. And now with empowerment, with digital education, empowerment comes in to make that particular choice. And she is empowered by digital financial literacy and no longer dependent, which is also one of the many important aspects that we are discussing lately. And we have taken the first step in empowering women as well as men alike in every district of India, of course, by participating in the Carte Blanche project. I want to speak a few lines about that as well, because we are giving a special heat to NEP 2020 and its deliverable of empowering future ready generation. So here we have ensured that educators are skilled to deal with challenges of the 21st century. With Carte Blanche project, we have taken the first step in empowering the important stakeholders of education, that is teachers, principals, students alike. And I am overjoyed to come across the news that now CBSE has also introduced design thinking in schooling curriculum to apply the process of problem solving and finding creative and innovative solution. So on that note, I would like to conclude by quoting Don Norman, and I quote, "Technology may change rapidly, but people change slowly. The principles of design come from understanding of people because they remain true forever." So thank you for that, and a happy Women's Day to everyone here. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Shivangani, for the wonderful explanation about design thinking and how it's going to be effective in the future of schooling. Now I go over to Ranjani. She's going to talk about social networks and how important networking is in education as well as in society building. Over to you, Ranjani.
Thank you, Mrs. Seth. Good evening to everyone present here today. With the advent of the internet came the transformation of most sectors, be it commerce, automobile, transportation, etc. However, one sector has seen little change. Yes, we're talking about the education sector. While we've seen technology affect the finance and the banking sectors to a large degree over the past few years, digital transformation in the education sector is gaining momentum only post-COVID. A few years ago, educators had to move classes online abruptly, thanks to the pandemic. This left students dissatisfied, but the advancement in pedagogy has resulted in hybrid learning emerging as a new norm, providing an alternative to traditional learning. Few will contest the fact that the pandemic has made it clear that education needs to change. If our formal education systems have to remain relevant in this knowledge age, then they need to change the way they operate in the current paradigm. Once in a generation change advised by the Connected Learning Community Framework, or NEP 2020, needs to be implemented. In order to achieve this goal, schools must take immediate action to lower access barriers, reach a wider, more diverse population of students and institutions. However, there are important takeaways from the turbulent times of the pandemic that go far beyond the classroom. Institutions have the chance to use their recent digital technology learnings to improve the student experience and transition to more hybrid work. If implemented properly, this strategy might safeguard the viability of institutions and help them become more student-centered. Over the past few years, educators and stakeholders of education, like teachers, principals, students, and parents, realized the importance of a connected learning community. So what does it mean to be a part of an empowered, educational, connected learning community? Here, students, educators, and parents have anytime, any place access to learning. Learning is relevant, individualized, and personalized. Schools have information systems that support accountability and efficient management. Schools, campuses, homes, libraries, businesses, and global resources are connected in a dynamic, collaborative learning environment. Let me ask you a question. Who are the stakeholders of this connected learning community? Just think about it for a few seconds. They are the school management, principals, educators, students, parents, examination boards, universities, governments, vendors, and the entire community at large. It essentially looks like every person living on the face of this earth is a stakeholder of education. Therefore, it is important to build one world and one community. These communities will surpass nations and will collaborate for mutual and good prosperity. How do we connect all these communities together? The answer is very simple. Go digital or DigitALL, as it is the theme of the UN for Women's Day. At one destination and one time, teachers can address, help, assess, and interact with thousands of students. Yes, this is the magic of a digital cyber community. I'm here to handhold education communities to connect and collaborate for anyone who requires it. For an education community to flourish and perform exceptionally, it is important for teachers to be well versed with everything. A community can prove an excellent space for sharing knowledge, resources, and insights. Lycée, Microsoft Teams, Kaizala, Flip, social media apps like WhatsApp, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, they all provide platforms for connected learning communities. Today, the social media gives us a voice as women. It supports innovation and gives us equality in social lives and redefines our role in society. It makes us stronger than ever before. Me, Ranjini Srinivasan, I have tasted the liberal self-defining freedom and expression on the social media platforms, and I will try to engage with every educationist to liberate them from the shackles of traditional status quo into a journey where the mind is without any fear. Thank you.
Thank you, Ranjini, for the lovely speech. Well, it was really magical moment from all of us, all the ladies who spoke in this event, right from Shanta to Rupa to Roshni to Snigdha to Shivangani and now Ranjani. And we know for sure that women can make a difference, can make a large difference. They have always been making difference in our lives, right from our childhoods. And when we went to school, they are the ones who held our hands and gave us knowledge. And then as we progressed in life, we always felt that women are important in our daily dispositions. However, we forget their roles in our lives and we tend to become masculine in ways. But today in the knowledge age, we need to be feminine. Well, I'll be sharing a lot of literature with you all in the coming week, which is going to be celebrated as a Women's Week. And in that, you'll understand how important feminism is in a human characteristic. Well, now, since we have almost come to an end to our program, we also want to give away certain goods to you all when you have attended this particular program, and we want to empower you all. So I go over to Prashant. He is going to announce we intend to give it to you all, and how important that would be in empowering you all. Over to you, Prashant.
Thank you so much, sir, and thank you everyone for giving me this opportunity to speak on today's event. It's a very important event which we are conducting today about International Women's Day. And I truly see that today the week is starting, Women's Empowerment Week. This is the best thing to start the week with this kind of event where we can see the lot of presenters. All the presenter I can see their contribution towards society is appreciable. And we all giving a big round of applause to everyone. Now, what is my thing today I'm going to speak about is about what kind of contribution we can actually help you out in making you more empowered. As I joined TAG, I was earlier always working as a woman empowerment person. I always try to support mother, sister, friends, family, anybody, especially to make them empowered. But when I joined TAG, I truly see that yes, the women empowerment plays an important role. In TAG, we definitely empowers women in our office and we make them ready for job. And a lot of empowerment things we do, especially in the schools when we visit. We try to see that the mother parents, especially today's situation when the mother parents comes to the school to pick up their child, we try to train them also on making them ready for how they can handle their devices, how they can be learning more and more things. So especially we are mainly focusing on the super moms, mother as an important area here. So ultimately, I have seen right from the year when I joined this company, every day we are trying to contribute to the society and we are trying to empower women. Today also, in some way or other, we are trying to empower all the women today. So for that, because women are the real architect of the society, we truly believe on this, and we will be continue doing the work on this mission. Now, going forward, I am very happy to share with all of you that we have got a lot of response and Flip. I think we have also given the Flip link to all of you to amplify your voice. I think you can all share your responses. These responses, my presenter, my jury members, everybody is going to watch it. They also wanted to hear it, that what you feel about the role of women in this 21st century and with the new DigitALL, the theme, right? So it is very wonderful to see all the responses from all the educators which is coming in. So thank you so much for that. You can even record the responses by scanning this QR code. If you are using the mobile phone right now, you can just scan this QR code to record your responses. So the link is also we have shared in the announcement. I feel that you can go ahead and share us that what is the role of women in this 21st century and what you feel how you feel empowered. And I've seen that lot of, I think the 10,000 videos we have received from empowered educators, they all are sharing about how they got the certificate and they feel themselves empowered and they are motivated to go forward in the upcoming training sessions, and they are learning just to become more independent, more empowered, and more contribution they can bring in the society. Because as I mentioned again also, they are the main architect of the society. They only can contribute, and they can also only share the things to the students, and so many things they can do it. So as a token of appreciation, yes, yesterday Ali sir has already explained about we are providing this participation certificate, which is signed by our chairperson, Santa madam, and her signature, our project director, KV Vincent sir. So you are all getting this participation certificate, the certificate of completion of 1 week of training. You all are going to receive it, and right now the process already started. I come to know before I joined this event. I come to know there are for 2 regions, the participation certificates are already shared with all the educators who joined the session. So the regions like Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, and Sikkim, these all places already the certificates must have reached. Remaining region, yes, by today, tomorrow, this entire weeks we are celebrating. So you all will receive this certificate. We wanted you to feel empowered when you receive this kind of certificate, right? So with that, I think I'll conclude this session. And not just this day, I will must say about this important statement. Not this just today's or this week is the International Women's Day, but every day we have to be bold, we have to be stronger, we have to be independent, we have to be passionate, we have to be empowered all the days. So with that, I'll stop here. I'm giving stage back to Alisa for conclusion. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Prashant. Thanks a lot. Thank you for sharing the empowerments and how important this is to our people who are attending this program as well as the previous programs. And one important thing is that we are getting a lot of flip messages. Keep it coming because we like it and we can see how excited you are about this empowerment. We had some wonderful speeches today and all from women, for women, and to define their equality in our society. So thanks a lot. Thank you, everybody. And thanks a lot to the speakers who came and spoke. And we really mean to take this entire empowerment message to the next level and see that you are truly digital educators and you will be regarded in the future as the builders of this nation. Thank you. Thank you very much.